Ah, another Bleed Arcane build I see. How very original of you, sir. Well, you're still no match for my ultimate Hello everybody, Some Kind of Cyborg here bringing you another Elden Ring video. Today, I'm going to be showing you where to go to grab the weapons, armor, and incantations you will need to liberate the ordered masses and bring glorious chaos to the world.
May chaos take the world!
There's also a seal you can grab that specifically boosts frenzy incantations. This can be acquired by completing the Hyeta questline. It is an incredibly involved process that would warrant a lengthy video in its own right. If you would be interested in seeing that, please let me know in the comments. That being said, my trusty Erdtree seal has yet to lead me astray with this build in both PvP and PvE, so the Frenzy seal isn't absolutely crucial to the overall success of the build. As was the case I stated in my previous video covering Black Flame incantations, Frenzy spells and Vyke's spear don't just induce madness build-up in fellow Tarnished.
Help me! Help me!
They will also burn all they come into contact with. With that being said, we will once again see value from the Fire Scorpion Charm, Flame Grants Me Strength, and a Fire Tear infused Physic Flask. To that end, this build will work to burn through enemy health reserves in PvE and alight enemies prone to panic when ablaze. PvP, however, my goodness, that's the true body that the spice of chaos inhabits. Everything in this build from top to bottom is tailored specifically to drive your enemies insane. Madness build-up functions similar to Frost and Bleed build-up, where attacks and spells will see a yellow bar fill along the screen. When it hits the tippity top, enemies will be temporarily incapacitated as they're blinded by sights only divine eyes should ever lay upon. This provides an excellent opportunity to get a meaty heavy attack in. In terms of how the build functions in PvP, it is not as strong as the likes of broken arcane bleed builds, those fully invested in Moonveil katanas, or Ramgoat armor ultra greatsword boys. It is, however, incredibly fun, and a build more than capable of going toe to toe with any of its meta counterparts. With all that said, let's jump in and get you the pieces required to drive your enemies up the wall. First off, there's Vyke's Warspear, a weapon dealing mixed damage, that being physical and fire, and it's an all-around great dexterity faith option. Next, the Fingerprint Stone Shield, a great shield with insane defense, resistances, and a bash attack that has a whopping 70 madness build-up. We're going to grab all the frenzy-based incantations, which output great burst damage in a PvE setting, and will see your enemies driven to absolute insanity in PvP. And finally, I'm going to show you where, in the mountaintops of the giants, you need to head to grab the full Fingerprint Armour Set. Vyke's Warspear is a great spear type weapon requiring 16 strength, 20 dexterity, and 18 faith to wield. It gets a D scaling in strength at +4, and a B scaling in dex at +7. It follows the Somber Stone smithing track up to +10. This is going to be your main weapon, capable of steadily growing frenzy in your enemies with each hit and applying fire damage alongside its physical. The moveset is your standard Great Spear fare, and though its damage is admittedly on the lower side of other weapons in its category, we don't pick this weapon up entirely for its damage. We take it for the madness build-up, and we also take it for the insane weapon art. Frenzy Flame Thrust is an attack costing 22 FP that sees your character leap into the air before driving the spear down in a Frenzy Flame explosion. The initial explosion does huge damage, builds up frenzy, and will flatten most enemies. It sends 3 prongs of flame along the ground that will continue to burn enemies and apply frenzy over time. It has a decent startup time, and, if used unlocked, its direction can be changed to face anywhere on landing to really mix up your opponents and also serve as a great roll catch to apply constant pressure. This weapon is dropped by an invading NPC named Festering Fingerprint Vyke in the Liurnia of the Lakes region. As you approach the Church of Inhibition to the northeast, Vyke will spawn at the foot of the hill the church is situated on. Fair warning, there have been some instances of players reporting that the NPC invasion was not working correctly. The general consensus seems to be that if you've defeated the main boss of the area, the NPC will not spawn. That being the case, I'm currently at the endgame, and when I returned to Liurnia to grab this weapon, Vyke still did spawn for me. Next up is the Fingerprint Stone Shield. This is a strike attacking great shield that requires an absolutely insane 48 strength to wield. It has a descaling in strength and follows the standard smithing stone upgrade path up to plus 25. It can also be infused and have its element changed. If you follow the standard upgrade path, it will get a C scaling in strength at plus 5 and a B scaling in strength at plus 25. This is a great option for both PvE and PvP content if you can get over the strength required to wield it. This bad boy can tank hits all day long and keep on trucking. Pair it with thrusting weapons and you can turtle behind it, blocking and attacking simultaneously. You can find this shield after defeating Moog the Omen in the subterranean shunning grounds and progressing through the secret route in his boss room. To access the secret area, simply reveal the double illusory walls in the altar behind the Site of Grace. This can be achieved via attacking or rolling. After that, there's a little bit of everyone's favourite Elden Ring activity. Whilst down here, you can also grab Inescapable Frenzy, a 21 faith, 1 slot required incantation that sees you attempt, that being the keyword, to latch onto a target before expelling concentrated Twitter feeds down their throat. This instantly builds a great deal of madness and does huge damage. I have no footage because despite my best efforts, I've never landed it. I'm going to put a speed run up on screen now to show you exactly where to go to grab both of these items. On the agenda next, we have our Frenzied Incantations. I've gone over some of these in previous videos, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Flame of Frenzy is a 16 faith, 1 slot required incantation that sees the user emit a burst of wild bolts from their eyes in a wide arc. It does decent fire damage and causes madness build-up in fellow Tarnished. The attack can be held to let rain even more bolts at the expense of an increased madness cost to the player and wind-up, a trait shared with most Frenzy incantations. It's a great attack and can be used unlocked to concentrate the blast over a shorter area, or disperse it by angling up to hit further ranges. It can be found in the Kalu Baptismal Church in the Weeping Peninsula. Frenzied Burst is a 22 faith, 1 slot required incantation that sees the user loose a burst of energy in a fast firing line from their eyes. Now, where have I seen this move before? It has a very good range and can be charged for greater potency. When used against players, it's incredibly easy to dodge. It is possible, however, to free aim the technique with a little practice that will catch people out. You can find this incantation in Liurnia of the Lakes, close to the Church of Ambition in the clutches of a scarab beetle. Howl of Shabriri is a 33 faith, 1 slot required incantation that sees the Tarnished inhale before letting slip a string of expletives so coarse I've had to remove the audio for your benefit. It causes madness build-up in enemies and will also buff temporarily strength, dexterity, faith and intelligence at the cost of decreasing physical damage negation. I've had a lot of fun baiting people in with this attack by throwing out a couple flames of frenzy and then switching to this incantation as the attempt to punish the charge. Be careful though, the madness build-up you endure using this technique is plentiful. This incantation can be found in a chest in the Frenzy Flaming Tower, not too far from the Church of Inhibition. I'm going to put the map up on screen now, showing you exactly where to go to grab it. Finally, we have Unendurable Frenzy, a 31 faith, 1 slots required incantation that functions similarly to Flame of Frenzy. During the move's startup, you will let burst from your eyes strikes of wild fire in an arc, which can continuously be pumped out by holding the spell. Pair this with a Clarifying Horn charm and an unlimited FP tier and you're away to the races. This technique is the bane of any who would cower in interior spaces, as you can move while channeling the technique to force opponents against the wall. Watch your madness meter meticulously though, as upon releasing the technique your character will let loose a burst of bolts to boisterously batter the area all around, and I had fun with that alliteration. You can find this final incantation quite late into the game in the Yellow Annex ruins to the southwest of the consecrated snowfields. The ruins are guarded by giants, both humanoid and rat, and you'll have to mount Torrent and jump into a walled area of the ruins through a window. Descend the stairs, and in the bottom your prize awaits in a chest. And now, to round things out, let's get our hands on the Fingerprint Armour Set. This one is simple enough to achieve, and once again you will have had to progress to the mountaintops of the Giants area to unlock it. Simply go to the Evergaol presented on screen and defeat Vyke. He will, upon defeat, drop a incantation as well as the full Fingerprint Armour Set. And there you have it, folks. Now you too have the capability to instill insanity in your fellow Tarnished. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like, and subscribe if you would like to see more Elden Ring content. Until the next one, folks, take care and have a good one. Peace!